Hello guys, welcome back to Super Guy Boy Show, and today y'all are getting part 3 of the installment of the underrated arcs in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And basically, like the title suggests, and in my last two videos, I'm basically going over arcs that I'm a pretty big fan of that I don't think gets talked about or gets enough love for. And this video is basically like that. I'm gonna go through also more arcs in this series that I also think deserves a bit more praise, and I think it actually does. And like I always say in my last videos, put down the ones that you think deserve more love. Because, of course, there's a lot of great arcs in JoJo's, but I feel like the ones that are definitely great gets a bit underrated. Maybe because JoJo's has a wide variety of arcs that are so memorable in their own ways that sometimes it could outshine some of the other ones that are just as good or almost good. So hopefully this video inspires y'all to at least check out these arcs I mentioned in my video, and also put down in the comments of what you think are some underrated arcs that don't get talked about enough. The first arc we're going to be talking about is Ojiro Returns. Ojiro Returns has always just been one of my personal favorites from JoJolion, and I don't get why people just don't talk about it. Maybe it has something to do with its very short, chapter count, only being about like 2, and being right in the middle of the Wonder of York, which is just filled to the brim with a lot of crazy shit. And also, I think it's because like most people, when they think of memorable arcs from JoJolion, most people's heads, they just think of Vitamin C or some other random arc. But I feel like Ojiro Returns is such a really good arc for I think 3 main reasons. First off, Ojiro is just very entertaining to watch. I really like his new personality. The first time I saw him, I didn't think much of him. I just thought he was an okay character. But just seeing him again with this brand new personality, he's kind of weird and all that. And I like how he just threatens Tsurugi in kind of like a friendly way. And then I like how he just becomes way more trashy as like the arc progresses. And I like this running joke where he just has garbage just surrounding him, whether it be at the mall, maybe him following Tsurugi, or maybe him being on the roof. Like for some reason, there's just trash all around him, and I really like that joke. And even Joven just calls him a trash person. A second reason is got to be the confrontation between Jobin and Ojiro. I really like it because it's just such a simple confrontation. I really like it. I like Fun's new ability this time around, and I also like the full reveal of Speed King's ability and all that. And I gotta say, I fucking freaked out when Joven closed the windshield on both of their necks. I actually thought that they were dead, but then Paper Moon King, because I forgot, Paper Moon King just can just lie to the readers and all that. And then we got to the final part of the arc, which is definitely my favorite section, and it's got to be the phone call between like Makarin and all that. I think that's her name, Makarin. And I really like this one because it's not only showing the ability of Speed King, because we always got little hints here and there that like, oh, Speed King has some crazy ability, and now we're finally just getting what it was. And like, I really love the phone call, the way how he just threatens Makarin and her family, and then the last part where he's like, oh, it turns out you're not a stand user, because if you were, I would have murdered your whole family. And then like Jobin just without no hesitation just fucking murders her and all that, then ending the whole arc off with Jobin walking away with the plan, with this idea that Jobin dragged Ojiro's dead body into his house. And like, bro, that is like such a sick idea to think about. Ojiro Returns might be just one of my favorites because not only is it very fun on Ojiro's section, but I think it's also a really great one when showing Jobin's progression into a much more antagonistic role. Seeing him just having no hesitation of murdering Makarin and then threatening her family and all that, it just showed like something that I wish Araki delved more into as Jobin became more and more of an antagonist in the Wonder of York. But of course, that didn't fully get explored, and he just died, unfortunately. But still, Ojiro Returns is such an entertaining arc, and I highly suggest you reread it because it's only just 2 chapters. You're not wasting that much. The second one is Wrecking Balls. I do not get why this is one of the most underappreciated fights and arcs in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, just period, in my opinion. Not only is Wicked People and Magenta's like scenes together just really funny and great and all that, but like Wicked People is such a great like antagonist towards Gyro. His backstory, the way it connects, like you really feel bad for Wicked People. And I love this little section where, before he's about to duel it out with this prince or whatever, he's like, what weapons we're gonna be using? And then the prince just yells out, well, steel balls, of course. And another thing too, I love the battles between the steel balls. They look great. Araki's amazing artwork once again just pops out. I just love looking at the wrecking balls just hitting against each other with so much force. Like you can almost feel it just through the pages and all of that. And of course, another thing, Magenta is just one of those entertaining antagonists, and I really like his personality. He's very rat-like, and he's just disgusting in general. But he also is like a very snarky asshole in general. Like him just being like, man, did you know about this airplane that's gonna be coming out? And then Wicked People just puts that idea down by like, well, if they get so advanced enough, they won't be needing people like us anymore. And then he's like, oh man, he's kind of right. And I just love also how the whole battle feels so much more different, which is another thing I love about Steel Ball runs, ways they use fights, is that the fights are each so different in their own way, and I love the way it's done. Wicked People Steel Balls aren't just like, oh, they're like Jarrow's balls, but much more stronger. No, instead, it takes away like the left side of their I think it's just like something about the left side. I'm trying to remember, but basically blinding them to the left side and being unable to use it and all that, and also Jarrow not being able to use the golden rectangle to throw his steel balls, and it just adds a new idea of like tension going on because we know Magenta has a gun somewhere, and I love also the hunt between trying to find the other corpse parts. There's just a lot I really like, and of course. Another part of it is got to be the panels. I love looking at the backgrounds. The backgrounds are just so beautifully done. I love looking at the snowy setting, and I think I brought this up in my last underrated arcs video, but every time like snow or ice gets involved, I feel like the coloring just gets a lot more cooler for me. And here it just looks really great for me. And if there is an issue I have with this arc, it has to be probably the ending. I'm not too big of a fan of how, Wicked People just has a hole in his heart or whatever. He has a hole in his chest and he's just like, fine. Like, dude, you have a hole through your chest. Is he just gonna walk it off? Like, I know it's not too big of a deal because, anime logic and all that, but it's like, it's just something I'm not too big on. As you know, how Steel Ball Run, I think, feels like a bit more of a mature part and all that. I just feel like that little aspect kind of, I just don't like it. Like, he can just walk off a fucking hole in his chest. But other than that, like, I really love this arc. It's like, recently I just reread it, and I feel like it's just been creeping up in one of my personal favorite arcs in JoJo's, because I love the fight. It's a lot more different. I love Magenta and Wicked People's scenes together. I love the hunt for the corpse parts and all that. And of course, Wicked People's backstory is really well done. And of course, it's just such a memorable arc and a beautifully drawn one too. I love the battle between Gyro and Wicked People's steel balls, and it's just done so well. Highly recommended if you didn't think this arc was that special. And that will be the end of my video. I know that this one was fairly short, but that's the point of most of these like underrated arc videos. It's mostly just easy content for y'all to consume. And also, like I always ask in my other videos, but then what y'all want to see, like what JoJo related content y'all want to see, like something a bit more original. Cause I'm tired of like getting comments here and there saying like, oh, do the strongest stands videos, or oh, do the worst stand videos. No disrespect to the commenters, but I want to see some more original JoJo content. So put down in the comments below what y'all want to see more from the channel. And yeah, hopefully this video made your day. Have a great, wonderful life. And yeah, see ya.